Today I'm talking about Thor, Love and Thunder. I assume you've already made up your mind about all Marvel movies. I'm very biased. I love them all. I especially love this one. It was great. So my review isn't going to be critiquing the movie really. It's just going to be talking about all the things I crazy loved about it with lots of spoilers. So if you haven't seen the movie and want to, just go see it. So yeah, I love this movie a lot. I definitely had a big smile on my face the entire time. I will say I do have some criticisms. It's still a really like though, but I wanted more is the first thing. That I love Christian Bale a lot. I could have used a lot more of him, just like him butchering some other gods. Plus Christian Bale was just great. He was super creepy and awesome. I really loved his performance. And then seeing more of the Guardians of the Galaxy, I thought we were gonna get more of them doing silly shenanigans together. And what we got I did enjoy, but I was expecting it to be longer. What I wanted the most of was Jane. I loved the mighty Thor. More of her would have been great. And then my other complaint is that especially in the beginning, it felt kind of rushed. One of my friends also pointed this out, was the first thing he said after the movie, and I'm like, oh shoot, okay, yeah. It wasn't just me who felt like we were going a bit faster at the beginning. Especially with the discovery that Jane has cancer, and then so quickly going to her as mighty Thor. That was very fast. We could have used a bit more of the build-up. I still love this movie a lot. It was great. I, in particular, loved Jane the best. I'm a huge fan of her. I believe I have read everything that she's been in as the mighty Thor. And Jane was great. I loved her so much. And she was silly and goofy and awkward. And then her being a badass was great. I especially loved the moment too where God Butcher was like, all right, Lady Thor. And she's like, excuse me, it's mighty Thor or Dr. Jane Foster? And I'm like, damn right. Goddamn right. Her whole storyline was really beautiful. And I think the ending was great too. I really loved the ending. Of course, Jane was gonna sacrifice her life for the greater good. I mean, obviously that's kind of a trope, but that's also something she did a lot in the comics. The issue is a little bit different in that she goes in for chemo and then she has to, in the middle of chemo, go run off to do a Thor thing. And when she turns into Thor, it pushes all of the poisons out of her body, and chemo is just poison. So her treatment doesn't do anything because the hammer gets rid of the treatment every single time. But I'm also cool with the hammer really isn't saving her, or the hammer is hurting her. Or I saw a theory of the hammer couldn't save her, the hammer could never save her, but it knew that it could give Jane salvation in a sense by turning her into an Asgardian warrior, and then when she dies, she'll be able to get into Valhalla through the hammer. And I like that theory. That theory makes a lot of sense. My absolute favorite joke in the movie was the recurring gag of Stormbreaker being super jealous. I just loved Stormbreaker just casually just coming into the edge of the frame and being like, what's up? It was such a great visual joke, and it worked every single time. I really, really loved it. I loved everyone's costumes. The costumes in this one were particularly good. They had such a flourish to them that I don't know how to put into words. It really worked for me visually. And really, in general, the visuals of this movie were great. It was so vibrant, but it made sense with the story and vibe. And then, of course, the visuals when they got to the black and white planet. That was so freaking cool. Of just yeah, there's no color, but now there's some color, and it's it was neat. My mom called it the black and white versus color fight. Everything was great. I really enjoyed this movie. If you somehow went through this whole thing and haven't seen the movie, I definitely recommend it. I super duper loved it. And now for my ranking. I put this at number in the really like section. And this is out of a total of 32 new movies so far this year.